Hey, it's Eli, aka Atlas, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a little walkthrough of how I inked Leaders of the Free World, #1, page 20. And this is a bit of an action scene. We're dealing with the star Moonshine, one of the stars, and she is in outer space fighting, since it's right on the page, she's fighting some intergalactic invaders, to paraphrase, or kind of without giving too much away. So without further ado, let's get into it. I started inking on the very last panel since it's the easiest panel to do, and the faster I can get things done, the better. And I do this a lot. I actually won't always start at the very first panel. I'll start on the panel that I can finish the fastest. After that, we get to panel 1. Actually, we jump backwards, and she's flying in this one. Didn't have to do too much drawing or erasing. Yeah, on this stage, I didn't have to do too many adjustments, even during the inking stage, because everything came out pretty well during the line art penciling stage. When you're drawing hair like this, you don't have to do every strand, but it's cool to add some bits that, again, let you know it is hair. So you kind of have to find a good balance, and I feel like by now I think I know where that balance is. So it looks like a lot of strands, but it's just enough strands, I think. Give a little shine to her costume, the purpley magenta parts, by using some shadows. You have to kind of be careful where you place them because you can get different effects, but for this, I wanted to give a little bit of an effect of depth, so it looks like the fist is bending and everything. We get a little foreshortening, and yeah. This angle is actually a bit difficult to do, and I know a lot of guys, other guys, probably can knock this out, and I don't think I did a bad job on it necessarily. But it is pretty tough to do, especially because of her outfit. She's got a jacket, which we have to throw into perspective and have the wind blowing and everything, and she's wearing a belt with some like pouches, so I have to put those in perspective, and it kind of has to wrap around her body in a three-dimensional way, which is not impossible, but it's a little tricky to do. Overall, I had a lot of fun doing it though, because it turned out looking really good, I think. Now we jump to panel 2, and in this particular shot, we have Moonshine busting out of the side of one of the invader ships. Just straight speed blitz, just flew right through the thing, cut it in half. I think this was actually, I had to think about this one as I was doing it, because I've never really done this effect, but in retrospect, it is pretty simple. She's got the smoke coming off of her is clear, and the smoke coming off of the ship is like darker. So it kind of does this foreground, background thing. So everything is smoke, but we get a pretty good separation, so it doesn't all look like one shape necessarily. I kind of made the ship designs up on the fly. I'm not one of those tech guys who can make really awesome looking technology and futuristic looking stuff. So for the most part, I did have some reference photos, and I took some ideas from like 100 different things and tossed them all together. But there's a ship on page, this is 20, after that 21, yep, page 21. That looks pretty incredible in my opinion. Not to brag on myself or anything, but I think that's probably the best looking ship I've ever drawn. So it's the page after this one. But for these guys were pretty much the little cruisers and stuff, so not to say that they weren't important, but I was a little looser on the they're gonna crash into each other, so the designs were they were okay. I did like these tiny fighter jets. these ones I thought were actually pretty cool. And if I get to draw these ships again, I'll definitely, or if I get to draw ships again in a different scene, I'll definitely reuse these designs because I actually think they're pretty cool. Now we jump to panel 1, 2, 3, 4. Moonshine is throwing one ship into another ship. She's kind of tiny, so we don't get too lost on all the details. I keep it light. Don't use any heavy shading. And the explosion, I actually could have been more generous with in retrospect. But basically, I leave notes for the colorist on things I think would work, as I'm also a colorist myself, so I'll tell him like to put a speed blur, that way we can kind of get different effects going. A motion blur, radial blur, either way. I didn't go too heavy on the smoke effect as these guys crash into each other, because we can have some other effects happening on top of them. In post-production, or more commonly known as Photoshop to everyone else, I like to give it a bunch of different nicknames. I call it CGI, I call it post-production, stuff like that. Once again, I did not go too crazy with the ship designs. These guys are crashing into each other. One of the things was I took some inspirations from cars, obviously. So I'm also working on, I was during the production of this page working on another book simultaneously. So that book had planes in it, so I took some of the like old airplane designs, 1930s, 40s, 50s, and combined them with these ones. So that's kind of where the aesthetic of some of the planes comes from. Not all of them, but some of them. And in panel 3, this is happening before the last one, so Moonshine is grabbing the plane here, and she's kind of in perspective a little bit, doing a little bit of an interesting twist. This was a bit of an odd angle, I guess, but it worked out for what I was trying to make it do, because we're catching her in the middle of the action, so we can kind of get away with those weird poses sometimes. So it goes on like this for a little bit. We're pretty much near the end of the page. I do some extra stuff in post-production with like different brushes and effects, some lighting stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Make sure you guys comment, like, subscribe, and share. If you liked this video, definitely let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. And yeah, more to come. Make sure you check out Leaders of the Free World as soon as this comes out. Not sure when I'm going to be posting this particular video, but by the time I do have it out, I'm hoping that this will be out. This is issue number 1, thanks to Corey, aka Task, on Twitter. I'll have all the links to everything you guys need to check out down in the description and probably at the corner of this video as well. Thank you guys again for watching, and yeah, see you next time. Later.
Sana, smit ni Sumia. Antes to sa sana. Sa nas panyagitila. Bigyan ng mga kapatid. Ang karahano. Sino nga